Hey guys, I hope you've had a lot of luck with the cowboy hats, and today I'm going to show you how to make visors out of cardboard boxes. One of the first things you're going to need to do is take your box, cut this bottom portion off, and take all the middle out. Alright, once that's done, it should look like this. Just the empty box. Next thing to do, cut these tabs off. You're going to need a flat flush on the top. Done. Should look like this when you're done. From here to here is approximately 7 3/4 of an inch. Alright, it should look like this, empty. And from here to here, you're looking at 7.5 inches. So what you'll do from here on is, I just made a template from a hat that I had, made out of a piece of hardwood flooring. Just cut it out and trace. Lay it on there like that. Line your edges up. Alright, after doing that, it should look like this. Your pattern cut out on it. And what I would do is put Super 77 in there, spray it real good, and I've actually got like a roller. I got this from Lowe's. You can roll it really good, make sure you get good adhesion, make sure it sticks very well. And before you cut this out, I would recommend going about 1/2 inch above this line right here and follow the line on the others. But on this one particular part on the top, leave yourself about 1/2 inch, and I'll show you why. Okay, now that you got this cut out, you've left yourself about 1/2 inch here. I made incisions down to that line all the way across. Started right here in the middle and made maybe 3 cuts on this side, 3 cuts on that side. It's not that important, just as long as you have a way to bend these tabs up. And then what you're going to do is you're not going to wear your hat like this. You want it bent. So I just go along the edge of my table, make it nice and round. So that way you give it the bend. And then just flip your tabs up. And these are going to attach to the second part. Okay, on your second box, it requires 2. This is one, and here's your second one. And remember, I said this is 7.5 inches wide, so we're going to take and divide it in half. That's 3 3/4. So I just visually, on my mat, I've got all the dimensions and everything laid out. But if you want to be sure, just take a ruler, mark 3.5 or 3 3/4 at the top, 3 3/4 at the bottom, and cut that in half. So it'll fold out like this. Okay, now that you've got this laid out, it should look like this. Top, right there. We're going to break this down into a couple different measurements. From this line, I'm going to come in 2 inches, and I'm going to come in 2 inches. Should look like this. Now I'm going to draw a horizontal line 2 1/8 inches down from the top. And that looks like that. So it's down 2 1/8, and I went in 2 inches from each side. Now, from this side, I'm going to come down 1 inch, and I'm going to come down 1 inch right here and connect this line and these lines. By using the pen, it kind of scores the cardboard to where it'll bend there in the crease. Okay, so those lines are done. Should look like this. Now I'm going to cut from here down to the bottom on both of these lines. I'm going to fold this flap up across that line. So it'll look like this. This flaps up. You're going to need to notch this out right here on both sides. Took a little chunk out like that. So now that's what we're dealing with. What that's going to do is that's going to allow me to bend this up. Just bend it up, follow it along that line. And if you have one, my roller, finish out that crease. And this is shaping up to be the top portion of your visor. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a Super 77 adhesive on the inside of this, and I'm going to close it up, cut off the excess. Alright, now when you're closing it up, you're going to want to put this tab in first. I fold these tabs in opposite directions of each other. If you did it correctly, it should look like this. We'll just run across the top, cut off the excess. And you're also going to have a little extra on these ends. Go ahead and cut those off too. Now, from this end, from the middle here, you're 7.5 inches wide. I come out about 1/4 inch outside of each line and cut down just to the bottom of this cardboard. That way it's still attached, but it is cut. I lay it face down, and now I'm going to have to bend this up. And I've actually got this measured out here, so let's see. If you don't have one of these cutting boards, you really need to get one. They're awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to line it up to where I can see the ends. This portion right here is flat. I'm going to bend this up to where I'm at the 3-inch mark on my cutting board. Put a little bead of glue. And the bottom is going to be at the 3-inch mark like that. Let's see if you can see that. Alright, we're going to do that the same thing with the other side. So as you can see, this is flush, and I came up to the 3-inch mark right here, and that's what we're looking at. Now, to make it a little bit stronger, I'll just run a slight little bead of glue on that part right there. If you lick your finger, get a little moist, helps to keep it from sticking to your finger as you spread the bead of glue out. There you go. There's your top portion of the hat. Now, the next key is to make a stitch across the top with the sewing machine, and that will keep these two parts held together. Okay, so after using an upholstery grade thread, I've actually stitched the bill part of the visor, and I've stitched along the top of this part of the visor. And with it being so stiff like this, you're going to want it to contour to your head. So same thing again, I would particularly hold on to your cut and glued seams and just roll it like you would a dollar bill, trying to get it flattened out for a drink machine, or curling a ribbon for a balloon. Yeah, that way you got some contour to it. Then the magic happens of mating up these two parts. And what you're going to want to do is, I like for my bill and the top part to line up precisely. And there's usually a spot right there in the middle where you can line it up. So now it's time to hot glue that. Alright, I start with the middle two tabs. That way I go ahead and get a nice, secure start to it. And then finish off the sides. But hold off on the last tab. Usually the last tab, leave it a little loose. And what you're doing is you're actually lining it up with the ink line that you had traced earlier. So here you are, just like this. You could actually just try it on real quick, make sure everything fits, then tidy up the last couple ends. And that is your beer box visor made out of 2 6-pack bottle boxes. What I would do to finish it up, add a bead of glue all the way across here. That way it just secures everything up. Next step would be to do is add the Velcro and the inside headliner. Alright, so now to finish this up, we got some peel and stick Velcro and a peel and stick headliner made from Bandzorb. They're about $1 a piece, and you go to bandzorb.com and get them. It's the best thing I found, and they're very comfortable. So, take your hat like this. I go on the inside, on here, and the outside right here. Now, this is adjustable for most people. If you have a larger head, during the construction of the hat, you may need to extend this part of your hat to make it larger. But for most people, that would be a nice fit. And to install this, there's a crease in the middle. Try to find the inside of my hat there, and contour it up just a little bit. And get your roller. That, my friends, is how you make a 6-pack bottle beer visor.